Okay, in this video I want to give a walkthrough of the Stellenbosch template. I'm using the Masters template here. It should be pretty simple to change this to PhD, or if you're using the report or article, much of what I'm going to say here will be the same. So I've got the PDF open here of the template as it is, as you'll download it from CTAN. So we'll work from there, and then I will be working in my editor of choice. So how we get this is firstly from the Stellenbosch to CTAN. We have a download button here which downloads everything for us, the documentation, the templates and everything. So I have already done that, and this is what gets downloaded when you do that. You can then extract that. Okay, and then that opens up, that opens up this file. You then have some stuff in here, source code and so on, but if you go to doc and templates, you've got the 4 templates over here and then documentation over here. So all I did is from inside the templates I went and took the STB Masters template and I just sort of copied that over to here, and I extracted it, and that's what this sort of directory is over here, Masters template, and then everything in here. So something that I haven't mentioned in any of the other videos is where this directory is on your computer doesn't matter. I've got on my local disk C in just a directory I've called LaTeX. You can put it wherever you want it in your documents or whatever, and then just in your editor you just need to go and open up this folder and then work from there. Okay, so this directory that I'm in here, this folder, is exactly what I'm in within my editor. So you can see bib, chaps append front main figs, and then here append front main figs, and then these two, the PDF and the text file. Okay, so PDF and text file over here, and then when I go, I've just opened up my PDF in a PDF viewer. So I use Sumatra. I don't know how to spell that actually. You can check it out. It's quite a lightweight viewer. It's quite nice. Okay. Then when you open up this stbmasters.txt, this is now the main file. Okay, and everything that you should be concerned with is from, or will mostly be concerned with, is from the begin document to end document. This is where all of your stuff happens. Front matter, title page, your declaration date for your plagiarism declaration, and then all your chapters. You can add to these, change to these, and each of these chapters is within the, on the left hand side here, chaps main. So these are your main chapters, so conclusion, content, some content chapter, an intro, and a literature review. You could maybe have a method section, a content B chapter, whatever it is. And again, these names don't matter within each chapter. So for example, let's go content A chapter. If I go in there, you can see the title is content chapter. It's not content A. You can call it what you want, and then you can set up the chapter in here as you please. So start with a chapter and then headings, equations, whatever it is. Okay. So that's there for all of these, and you can add new ones in here. You don't have to stick to what this has got. You can add whatever you want. So for example, if we create a new one here, we'll call it new chapter, I guess. Oh, sorry, let me just make that a .text. Okay, so it's new chapter.text, and then in here we just say chapter. This is a new chapter, hello world, or whatever it is. Okay, and then we can do that, and then within our within our main template stbmasters.txt, like the main file, we can then go and put that chapter wherever we want it. So let's say we want that after the content A. We can then say chaps main, and the reason we say chaps main is because it's in a different directory called chaps main / and then I called it chap new chapter. There we go. So that's the name, that's the directory that it's in, and we can work from there. And then if I build this, which I will do just now, let me actually do that. So don't worry about how I build my files. This is just how I prefer to do it. Your editor, as in many of the videos I've shown before, has a play button. If you're in Overleaf, you can click recompile. If you're in VS Code, there's a play button you can press. And if you're in TextWorks, there's also a play button you can press. Okay, and there we go. It's gone and generated that. And if you come down here and look at our PDF, we've got literature review, we've got the content chapter, which was chapter 3, and then now this new chapter that I've gone and created. This is a new chapter. Hello World has gone and been put in there. And then to take it out, you just do the reverse, I guess. Take it out of your main file. Okay, so that is what all of this in here on your main file does. It basically is the sort of layout of your chapters, sort of at a very high level. But as you can see at the top of this page, we're on line number 129. So what are the other 129 lines above in this sort of template? Okay, so let's go to the top. So there's 2 comments at the top here. To be very honest, I'm not exactly sure what those are. I think that's the encoding that's used, and it's using the XE LaTeX. So I use PDF LaTeX, that's use XE LaTeX. And I'm not sure if these are just comments or if it actually does say something. I don't think it does anything. I think we can actually take that out. Let's just see what happens. Should be fine. So those are there. I think that's just more for our sort of information. Then we start with the document class. So in a lot of the examples that I've uploaded, we usually use an article. In this case, we use the SDB thesis. So this is now the document class that we're using. And then everything within these square brackets is options that we've got. And what you can do is you can go and look at the documentation, which I've got open here. And again, this is just within the Stellenbosch 2 that we unzipped. Go in there, documentation, and then it's the thesis one. So if we go into that documentation, we can see we've basically got here what it is saying in the template, and then here you've got all of the different options. So we can either have gone Masters A or Masters T, assignment or a degree, assignment masters or a thesis masters. If you're one of those 2, you know what those are. PhD dissertation, you can change that to PhD over there. And then some of the other block sizes, A5 golden block. I think golden block is the default, yes. And there's a nice image here showing what the differences is and what the sizing is and what each of these golden block or A5 means. And then there's the sort of other options here, 12-point A4 paper. So if we look at the template, it uses 12 points A4. And here we can see in the white boxed is the sort of preferred options at Stellenbosch. So that's 12-point A4, one side, and then open any. So one side is, if you print it out, it's only going to print on the one side of the page, and then open any means that a chapter can begin on either left or right hand pages, I think. On the next page available, yeah. So those are some of the options, but again, the template's got that set up. If you want to change it for some reason, you're free to do so. Okay, so that's that. And again, these don't need to be set up like it is here. I mean, you can have this all on a single line if you would like. So you could have that like that. There we go. Saves a bit of space. Okay, then there's some language setup stuff. I recommend to stick with the default here. Some math setup. If you need maybe some bold characters, and so I think that's actually down below. But if you need extra math stuff, extra symbols, maybe that a MS Math doesn't have for you, you can put new ones in, but don't put any packages up at the top here. This is sort of the default. I'll show you where to add your own packages if you want to. And then here is the font that's used. So if your computer is using XE which mine is not, then it'll have the Cambria default font, and then there's some setups for that. And if it's not, so in my case I'm using PDF LaTeX, then I'm using the Computer Modern so just the default font style. Okay, so again, all of these you can ignore. I'm actually just gonna collapse those. There we go. Okay, then for units, so SI unit X, there's a video that I've done on that. Go check that out. There's just some additional options that are set up here for SI unit X. So for example, group separators, I put a comma. I think sometimes people use other symbols. And then putting the sort of C dot between two units to make it clear what the units are, and so on. And again, this you can play with it if you want, but you can also just ignore that. Okay, then for bibliography, I've also got a video on that, and the only thing really that you need to know here that you need to change, or that you may want to change, is this A. You may want to change that to an N. So A is the Harvard sort of style, the author year style. So it'll be, let's say the author is, so in this case, if we were to cite this documentation, it would be else 2024 for Dr. Donnie Else 2024, or else et al 2024, whatever it is. Or we can do the number one, and the number one would, instead of having else 2024, it would just be number 2 or number 7 or whatever it is, and then down in the list of references they'll all be listed 1 to however many references you have, and then you'll see there. And again, that's your choice. I think at Stellenbosch the sort of recommendation is to use the A option, but again, you can chat to your supervisors and see what they prefer. And then this nomenclature, I don't know how to say that, is for setting up the nomenclature of your document, and there is in the chaps front where you can do that. There we go, chaps front, and then I think it's symbols. And here you can set up your nomenclature, so you begin nomenclature, variables, blah blah blah, and nomenclature, and then also some abbreviations. So that's all in here for you, and that's set up in here in the template. So again, really you don't need to do anything here. You can just ignore that. Bib style, there we go. Okay, and then there's some additional options here. These, depending on exactly what you're doing, you may use them, you may not. So you'll probably always use graphics if you've got images. Long table is a package that allows you to put a table over a certain page. And then there's just some other caption options here, and X color as well. Again, these are just stock standard. I recommend just leaving them there in the template. It's not really hurting you. Okay, then some extra definitions just for the template. Again, you don't need to worry about these. This just changes for the languages and for the sort of setup that we wanted. So we want a table of contents, a list of figures, and then if you want capitalizations and things, you can go and change that. So let's say you wanted a list of, and then references with a capital R, and contents, you can do that as well. So you can change those here, but again, you can probably just ignore that. Okay, then if you want any other packages in your thing, so let's say you want to use ticks. Maybe if you're not very familiar with the template, maybe leave that in there just as a reminder for yourself. But here we can add any of the packages that we want. So let's say we want to use ticks. There we go. Now we can draw tick pictures. Or what are some of the other packages that we've already spoken about? Book tabs. Maybe you need book tabs for your tables, or I recommend using book tabs for your tables. That's where you can put these. You can put these in here, or use the definitions. Okay. Then for the title page, at Stellenbosch, the title page is sort of very well defined in terms of what it needs to look like. And this is where you go and put in your actual title. So don't play with any of the options over here. Just change the example title to your title. And then obviously your name you can change. So in one of the other videos I did mention why there's two names here. So there's a longer one and a shorter one. So the longer one appears on the main title, and then this one appears at some other places in the document. So if I actually go to the PDF, you'll see at the top it says John Doe right at the sort of title page, which is the second option over here. But the J Doe appears a bit further down. here we go. At your abstract, it says JDO, and also for the Afrikaans version JDO. So if we change those, they'll change automatically. So let's just change this one to P. Well, let me change this one to be my name, and leave the other one as John Doe. As soon as that updates, there we go. So you can see at the top here, it stays as John Doe, but if we go down here, it now says Pierre Lachtaert for me. Okay, cool. Then again, degree, depending on what you're doing, you can update this. Just make sure you don't mess everything up in terms of spelling. And then here again, I recommend leaving this as is, unless you're from another department, then obviously update it to be your department. Faculty of Engineering, Supervisor, Co-Supervisor. I'm not sure if you've got 3, what that would be like. I've never done that. Let's see if we do that again. Dr. J. Brown. Let's see what that does. Let's see if we get an error firstly. We do not get an error. Let's see what it says up here. So drop the first co-supervisor. I wonder if we can have co-supervisor. Anyway, that's not important. If you have 3, there's probably a way to do that. Okay, then set date. This will be the date that you submit, I think. So whoever submitting in March, well done. So probably, I guess, November 2024 for most people. And then also, if you have funding, it's always good, and I think it is a requirement to recognize that. So let me just show you what the title page looks like now. You can see this orange thing at the purple thing at the bottom. Looks quite clean. And then if we put this here, you'll see that it goes and updates this page, if I'm not mistaken, to, yeah, there we go. So it then just goes and acknowledges the NRF for funding, or if you have somebody else that has funded you. Okay. And then we get back to the main document. So this is what we looked at earlier. If you want to change where your page numbers start and so on, you can do that here. But then we're back to begin document and everything else. So I hope that was clear, or at least gave you an idea of how the template works. If you have 3 supervisors, I'll try to figure that out. If you have 2 co-supervisors, see if we can't make a plan there. There's probably something obvious. But other than that, this should hopefully help you understand that you can basically ignore most of this document, most of the document from line number 1 all the way down to obviously updating your name and your title, but then you can ignore everything basically up until line 130-ish, or no, maybe line 122. So from 1 to 122, make those updates at the start. If you need a package, put a package in there, but all of that can effectively disappear. And then all you need to do is worry about what's at the bottom, so from 122 to the end. And then update each of your chapters as well, so conclusions. You can just put some stuff in there and work on chapter per chapter so that you don't, have a massive document that confuses you. Okay, I hope this helps. If there's any questions, please upload them onto the GitHub discussions, and we'll try and answer there as soon as possible.